A single missing link. A road that should exist, but never has. A 60-mile gap has stopped the world's longest highway for over 100 years, and no one, not even the most powerful nations, can finish it. We've built roads through mountains, deserts, and even over oceans. The Great Ocean Road slicing through Australia's cliffs, the Karakoram Highway climbing the Himalayas, and the Danyang-Kunshan Bridge stretching over the Yellow Sea. Yet here, nothing. No road, no bridges, no way through. Why has this road never been completed? Time to find out. The Pan American Highway stretches nearly 19,000 miles from Alaska to Argentina, except for one tiny section, the Darien Gap. This isn't any jungle. This is where modern engineering meets its match. Imagine trying to build a road through a place where it rains 330 days of a year. Not light rain, heavy downpours that turn small streams into raging rivers within hours. In a single day, the Darien can get as much rain as Las Vegas sees in a whole year. The ground itself is your enemy. What looks like solid earth is actually a network of swamps ready to swallow anything you build. Foundations sink, concrete cracks, asphalt crumbles. Engineers call it liquefaction when the soil turns into a mud soup under pressure. It's like trying to build on quicksand. We've built the Trans-Siberian Highway across frozen ground that reaches negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. China built a road through a 13,000-foot mountain by hand. Norway built a road over stormy seas. Dubai created islands from nothing. Boston buried an entire highway underground. Japan connected its islands with tunnels under the sea. But the Darien Gap? Engineers can barely start. In 1971, American engineers tried to survey just a portion of the route. Their special equipment, designed for the harshest terrain on Earth, sank into the mud within days. They had to abandon millions of dollars worth of machinery that's still buried in the jungle today. Even if you could build a road, keeping it would be impossible. Landslides here don't just damage roads, they erase them completely. A 2010 study found that any road built through the gap would need to be completely rebuilt every 4 to 6 years. The Darien Gap gets more rain than Seattle, London, and Tokyo combined. When it rains, everything changes. A path mapped on Monday might not exist by Friday. Rivers here don't stay in their banks, they create new paths with every major storm. Engineers call these braided river systems, and they're nearly impossible to bridge in the long term. This isn't just difficult engineering, it's nearly impossible, and that's just the beginning of the problem. But it gets worse. The Darien Gap is home to some of the most dangerous wildlife on the planet. 5 types of venomous snakes, including the fer de lance, are responsible for more deaths in Central America than any other snake. Poison dart frogs can kill a human with skin contact alone, and insects carrying diseases that modern medicine still struggles to treat. Consider the human botfly, an insect that lays eggs under human skin, where they hatch and grow, or the assassin bug which spreads Chagas disease, a potentially deadly condition that can go undetected for decades. Diseases here, such as malaria, dengue fever, yellow fever, and leishmaniasis, are common here. The wet conditions create perfect breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Medical help can take days to reach someone in the Darien, often too late for those suffering from the worst diseases. Then there are the flash floods. A thick tree cover can hide the fact that you're standing in a flood zone until it's too late. Waters rise so quickly that even experienced guides have been caught off guard. How bad is it really? Only 7 vehicles have ever successfully crossed the Darien Gap. 7. And it took them months of planning, special equipment, and military-grade support. The first, in 1966, used a Land Rover with a support team of 40 people. It took 136 days to travel 250 miles, most of which they spent cutting paths through dense vegetation by hand. In 1985, an expedition with custom-built vehicles took 741 days to travel just 125 miles. That's slower than walking pace. In 2000, a German expedition with 3 specialty-built all-terrain vehicles had to be rescued by helicopter after all 3 vehicles became hopelessly stuck just 30 miles into their journey. To put that in perspective, humans have reached the top of Everest over 11,000 times. We've sent people to the moon, but crossing this jungle by vehicle, 7 times in history. And if nature wasn't enough of an obstacle, there's another problem that makes this road impossible. The Darien Gap has become one of the most dangerous human territories on Earth. This isolated region serves as a key transit point for drug trafficking between Colombia and North America. Cartels don't want roads. Roads mean government access, police, and military. They've actively destroyed infrastructure projects that threatened their control of the region. In 2018, a small footbridge built by a humanitarian organization was destroyed within weeks of completion. The message was clear: no infrastructure allowed. Beyond the drug trade, the Gap has also become a dangerous migration route. Each year, thousands attempts to cross on foot from South America toward the United States. Without roads, these migrants face extreme dangers, not just from nature, but from those who would harm them. The numbers are shocking. According to humanitarian organizations, migrants face rates of robbery exceeding 90%. Kidnapping, assault, and even murder are common. Those who make it through often need immediate medical help. In May 2013, Swedish tourist John Philip Braunst was kidnapped by a local guerrillas group. They thought he was a U.S. spy. Both Panama and Colombia have tried to establish security in the region, but the dense jungle makes policing nearly impossible. Military outposts are isolated and themselves vulnerable to attack. In 2013, Panama established jungle checkpoints to monitor the region. Within months, 3 were abandoned after repeated attacks from armed groups. Panama lost 17 border officers in a single year trying to maintain control of the area. The brutal reality is that building a road here wouldn't be just an engineering challenge. It would require a military operation on a scale neither country is prepared to undertake. So with all these challenges, has anyone ever seriously tried to build this road? Twice in history, the road almost happened. In 1971, American engineers began survey work on the Panama side of the Gap. The project had funding, equipment, and political support. Work actually began with bulldozers clearing initial paths through the jungle. The plan was ambitious, a modern highway connecting the continents. But by 1974, the project was canceled. The official reason? Cost overruns. The unofficial reason? Every environmental organization in the world fought against it. The Darien Gap isn't just any jungle. It's one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth. It contains thousands of plant species, hundreds of bird species, and countless insects not found anywhere else. It serves as a natural barrier preventing the spread of diseases between North and South America, including foot and mouth disease, a highly contagious illness that could kill millions of farm animals if it spread north. Experts estimate that an outbreak in North America could cause over $100 billion in damage. The region is also home to indigenous communities, including the Embera and Kuna peoples, who have lived there for centuries. A road would forever change their way of life. These communities have fought against development for generations, winning legal battles in both Panama and Colombia. In 1992, another serious proposal emerged, this time with better technology and environmental safeguards. The plan included elevated sections to allow animal migration and water flow. The estimated cost? Over $2 billion, and that was 33 years ago. Today, engineers estimate the project would cost upwards of $25 billion, making it one of the most expensive road projects in history. But there's another factor. The United States, despite publicly supporting the idea of a complete Pan-American highway, has privately opposed the connection. A completed highway would make drug trafficking and uncontrolled migration significantly easier. Today, shipping containers move between Central and South America by sea, a route that's closely monitored. A direct land connection would create enormous security challenges. When all factors are considered, including engineering challenges, environmental impact, indigenous rights, safety concerns, and astronomical costs, the math simply doesn't add up. No government can justify spending billions on a project almost certain to fail. So if we can't build a road, how do people get around this obstacle? So what are the alternatives? Currently, vehicles can be transported around the Gap by ferry services operating between Panama and Colombia. These ships carry thousands of vehicles each year. For commercial goods, container ships have proven far more efficient than any road could be. A single container ship can carry the equivalent of thousands of trucks at a fraction of the cost and environmental impact. For passengers, small aircraft connect Panama and Colombia with daily flights. The 60-mile sea and jungle barrier is crossed in less than an hour by air. Ironically, the gap's inaccessibility has become an asset itself. Ecotourism has emerged as a sustainable economic alternative to a road. Guided expeditions allow visitors to experience one of the last truly wild places on Earth. Every extreme road in history has eventually been built, except this one. We've tunneled through mountains, bridged oceans, and carved highways into vertical cliffs. Human engineering has overcome seemingly impossible challenges. But the Darien Gap stands as nature's final roadblock, a reminder that there are still places on Earth where human ambition meets its match. Perhaps it's best this way. In a world where we've connected almost everything, this last gap preserves not just a unique ecosystem, but a boundary between worlds. The gap protects ancient cultures and countless species found nowhere else on Earth. It prevents the spread of invasive species and diseases between continents. Throughout history, we've learned that not every technological ambition should be pursued. Not every connection needs to be made. Some barriers exist for a reason. Remember, only 7 vehicles have ever crossed this jungle in history. 7. And that might be all that ever will. For all our technological progress, some connections remain unmade. Some journeys remain difficult. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly as it should be. Do you think this road should be built, or is the world better off without it? Let us know in the comments below.